You're listening to the Source Property Podcast, your number one source of tips and tricks for starting your property business.
Hello and welcome back to the Source Property Podcast. I'm Peter Blackley, the head of the support team here at Source, and joining me today is one of Source franchisees, Calvin. So Calvin, over to you. What did you do before getting into property?
So when I left school, I actually went to be a professional footballer. I went and played full time at Hibs, local team in Edinburgh. And I was there for 3 or 4 years full time. Didn't quite work out, never quite made the grade. And then after I had a few jobs in fitness, and I never really found any sort of passion at all. And until I met my wife, my mum and now wife, we opened a hairdressing salon together. And within 18 months to 2 years, we'd sort of grown to be quite a known brand, with 5 salons throughout Edinburgh, a chain within Harvey Nichols and David Lloyd's. So that is what I've been doing up to this point. I'm pretty much in the background, she's all the talent. I'm just in the background supporting the business as such.
Fantastic. So after you did that, you jumped into property. So what was kind of the first step that you took into property? What kind of property was your first deal? Yeah,
well, I think property's always been a sort of in the background for us. It's been a sort of side hustle for us, as I would say. From early on, we bought our first house and we bought a buy-to-let, and it was probably due to lack of experience. It's all I ever really knew.
Yeah.
Buy a property, save up, buy a property, then sell it on. Rent out, sorry. And that's what we've done. So we bought our first one at 22 or 23, rented it out, and then it was like start again, and then I have to save for the next one. So we've done that throughout alongside the business until 2 years ago now. We bought a ground floor of a church in Edinburgh. It was more a conversion from offices into flats, and I think that's when I really sort of found my passion for the property.
So that's how you previously progressed. You've done what most people do is, buy a property, refurb it, pull some cash, go to your next one, save it up, and now you're looking at something with planning, something a bit more.
Definitely, and I think that after doing that bigger conversion, I realised the true potential of the property, and what we've been doing up to that point was maybe a sort of longer term game in terms of for
the capital growth for the kids.
Yeah, whereas the conversion really did sort of, as I said, my passion for it, but the whole process of it, that whole journey was quite satisfying, and it was something I wanted to then go and do again.
Fantastic. So it sounds like you've been quite successful in property, you've had quite an interesting journey, and you're now getting into development. So what attracted you to the Source franchise? Why did you think Source would be beneficial to your current property portfolio and business?
I think the initial thought would be that it could accelerate my journey within property. The way we've done it up to this point has been a little bit slow and probably not as quick as I'd wanted it to be. So using Source, I think the capital, the peer-to-peer lending is a big thing. I think it's probably the biggest thing for most people to try and progress my own portfolio. But I think since joining as well, it's probably opened my eyes to a lot more in terms of the training and the different sort of strategies that we can use to sort of to have a property business and be successful in property.
Fantastic. So how has Source helped you so far? So I appreciate you've only been with us a few months. I think it was about 3 months ago when you came on your first induction and proper training with Source. So kind of since joining, how have we helped you so far?
I think first of all the training, the knowledge that you guys have got, I feel that's really helped me. The training is so in depth and you're learning pretty much all the time, even when you're not down the head office, back up here. The stuff online that you can get access to really does help. So that's been a big positive. I think the support's really good. I think the fact you can pick up the phone at any point and just say, am I doing this right? Or what do you think? It's just reassuring.
Bounce those ideas off your support person.
Yeah, so I think so far that is, and we've looked at a few projects. We've been outbid on a couple of projects just now, and just today we put an offer on a joint venture with Source, so fingers crossed that comes back as we've got that property and we can move forward with that.
Yeah, hopefully, and then we can move you forward much quicker then, and then move on to the next one. So what are your plans then? So what are your next steps now that you're part of the Source franchise? What are you looking to do next in property?
I think that my initial plans was to, as quickly as I possibly could, get a joint venture with Source to learn from you.
Hopefully we've ticked that one off the list.
Hopefully we can tick that one off, and then Initially it would be to get my own projects up and running, but I think from doing the training and from learning from what I've learned so far, there's so much more to it. I want to start getting into sourcing deals, working with different investors. There's such a large pool of investors you guys have got, or we've got now, that I think we can really add value to the guys through the training that we've had.
Yeah, so you kind of built those assets and built that portfolio. You're looking to now do into big JVs, the bigger developments, and then a little bit of sourcing and stuff around that for the quick cash flow in between. So it sounds like quite a solid plan.
Yeah, I think because as well as I'm now looking at projects I'd never been able to before. I've outsourced
with the access to the peer-to-peer capital.
I'm now looking at bigger projects that I've never been able to have access to before. So that's a massive positive as well.
Fantastic. So thank you for listening to the podcast today, guys. Remember, Source Franchise is here to help you. We are the first and only franchise of our kind, and we are much more than a training course. We are right behind you every step of the way, supplying you with knowledge and property leads, and we can even fund your deals through Source Capital. To find out more, send us an email or download the prospectus from sourcefranchise.co.